Hello guys, this is a pre-market analysis of 2nd of April. So again, today's market setup, it should be completely based on event, it should be based on geopolitics, it should be based on news driven. What Trump is going to talk in the next 5 minutes. So I'm recording this video. So within 5-10 minutes, Trump is going to address the media. So let's see what he's going to discuss. If his tone is kind of peace tone, then it is positive. If his tone is aggressive, then it is negative for the market. So the topic, of course, will be Iran Middle East conflict update, right? So this is extremely important. And before, by 9 o'clock itself, you'll get the idea, and based on that, you'll get the pre-market settlement also, and then you will get to know what to do in the market for today. And then again, you need to keep a watch on what is happening in between, because especially it is a Sensex expiry day, and then if one move is again going against you, that will directly affect the premium very badly. So the entry should be based on exactly your levels and exactly based on the news. So you need to keep a watch on that. So this his update, which is going to happen within maybe half an hour, if there is a positive tone, which means ceasefire confirmation or a withdrawal of the troop or de-escalation, then market will react very strongly positive, because the market have fallen so much. So that will be a good scenario. If the tone is aggressive, that means there will be further attack on power plants or oil production or desalination facilities. Then market is going to react again negatively, and that can be very sharp also. So today, the market reaction and the direction completely depends upon this speech, which is going to come within almost 30 minutes. Okay, maybe 5-10 minutes it will start. By 30 minutes, we'll get to know. And the market will also start reacting to that. And by 9 o'clock, anyway, you will get to know the pre-market settlement and everything. So there are four major developments that can shape the market today. First one is this related to Trump's statement. He said that Iran's new president, he is less radical and more intelligent, and Iran have requested for a ceasefire, right? So again, I told you this yesterday. Iran is now looking for a ceasefire. That is one thing, but there are conditions like permanently ending any kind of attack on Iran, and then European Union have involved. That's again a positive. So, but the condition is there will be a ceasefire only if Strait of Hormuz is completely open, and until then, US will continue attacking. So this discussion is actually going on. So one important point that I want to tell is that everyone is talking about it's Iran requested. Even Trump is also saying Iran requested, but it's not yet confirmed by Iran. But everyone is now believing that Iran is willing for a ceasefire. Iran is looking for a ceasefire, but it's not confirmed by Iran. That is one thing. And then Iran's president have written an open letter to US public, not to US government, not to US president. It is to US public that the key points is, Iran has not initiated any wars, not now, even historically also, and basically accused US of attacking the civilians and infrastructure, and given a strict warning that there can be a long-term global instability. At any point, Iran is not going to surrender. That is a history of Iran. That is a fighting spirit of Iran. So anyway, we know that, right? That country, which is having a lot of culture and a lot of difficulties when they have passed through, right? Then that fighting spirit. And that is why Iran is still surviving. The top leaders got killed on the very first day. Almost 40 leaders got killed on the very first day. So that, what does that mean? Even when the head is taken out, they are fighting, and that's the fighting spirit of Iran. And that is why, see, it's not about bullets, or it's not about bombs and weapons and fighter craft. It's ultimately, if you have that mindset that you are not going to surrender, then who can beat you? Again, it is not only with respect to countries, it is between anyone, it is between two people also. Even if you have that mindset that I am not going to give up until my last breath, then who can beat you in this world? No one can beat you. You don't want bullets or weapons or anything. Same is the case with Iran also, that fighting spirit. It's not about weapons or bullets or military capacity or, aerial capacity or navy. It's not about that. It's ultimately the spirit. Even US failed miserably in Afghanistan also. US lost miserably, right? At least financially. Though in paper they say that they have won Afghanistan, even other situations also, but this case will be an important lesson that US will learn. Maybe it takes some time. So let's see what is going to happen. And additional developments are like Trump have told US will exit Iran quickly, but will keep an option for spot strikes if it is required. And GD Vance, along with Pakistan, is trying to diffuse conflict. That is also a positive. So there is a mixed signal that de-escalation is there, but aggression is there at the same time, right? De-escalation possibility is there, but Iran is still attacking UAE. Iran is still attacking the Arabian countries, attacking on Saudi, UAE. So that is still there. Now, if you look at US market, mixed signal again. US market have closed positive. Dow Jones is 0.5 positive, S&P 0.72 positive, Nasdaq 1.16 positive. Volatility index, the VIX has came down 3% from 25 to almost 24.5. That means a slight improvement. At one point, we have seen above 30. Right now, there is, see, slight improvement is there, but not strong confidence. GIFT Nifty also, if you see, during the US session, it was highly volatile. So there was a range of 22,700 to 22,900. And if you look at the current level, it's around 22,820. So if you compare and equate it with GIFT Nifty, as of now, it's showing an opening with slight positive bias, but it's a flat opening. But again, the speech of Trump, maybe I could have done this video half an hour later, then we could have interpreted better. But depending upon the speech, that gap up, gap down things can change. As of now, if I simply look at GIFT Nifty and equating it with Nifty, what can happen is a flat opening with slight positive bias. But again, what is going to happen in the next 30 minutes or 1 hour will decide ultimately what Nifty is going to give. Again, if you look at the Indian ADRs, almost all are mixed to negative. ICICI ADR is negative. Infosys is negative. Wipro is looking negative. HDFC mild positive, Reliance GDR is again positive. So if you look at the arbitrage difference, there is a negative arbitrage difference of 1.5 for Infosys, ICICI, and HDFC. So overall, ADRs are not supporting the US positivity strongly. Okay, now coming to banking sector, which is very important. Day before yesterday, we have seen Bank Nifty have fallen 2,000 points, and I've told you the RBI's rule and the impact of that. But then banks have shown some loophole in that, and then it slightly recovered. But then RBI closed that loophole again today. So there will be a possibility that Bank Nifty can drag the market. That is specific. It is not related to war. It is specific to the banks. Okay. So the initial RBI rule was there is a limit of 100 million exposure, right? And banks had around 8 to 10 billion position, which is multiples of what was actually the limit was, right? So, because of this, what can happen is banks can get that arbitrage trades and, banks can make profit, right? Now, RBI when limited, that affected the banks. But then what the banks have done is they have found a loophole that they shifted these arbitrage trades. They themselves are not doing, banks are not doing, it is not reflected in their balance sheet. It will be done through corporate clients. So it will be, see, in reality, it is done by banks and the profits and everything to the banks, but not in their balance sheet. It will be done through the corporate client. So again, the rupee, the same pressure is continued, same exposure, same buying, same rotation, same forward contract, and everything is bought. So the thing is that just shifted the player from bank to corporate client. So just change the balance sheet from banks to the corporate. Again, RBI immediately understood this, and RBI closed that loophole also. And RBI restricted, these trades via corporate also, structuring these trades via corporate also restricted, and also stopped rebooking the forward contracts. You cannot keep rebooking this contract. And the derivative rules have basically tightened. Otherwise, you see rupees getting weakened because of this. So what is going to be the impact? Now, RBI is not only targeting that banks. Initial rule was related to banks, but now the entire ecosystem. So that is definitely going to affect banks profitability, and that is going to be negative for bank. So I'm looking for Bank Nifty to be dragging today. So bank sector will be under pressure for today. Now, again, if you look at FII's, DII's data, FII's again sold for 8,300 crore. Remember, last financial year, last day of the last financial year, they sold almost for 11,000 crore. And in the month of March alone, 1,10,000 crore they sold. Yesterday, the first day of the next financial year, they sold 8,300 crore. So the last day of the last financial year and the first day of this financial year together, they sold for 20,000 crore in the matter of last day and first day, just 2 days. DIAs, of course, absorbed the pressure. They bought for 7,200 crore. Now, if you look at the open interest, there are put additions at 32%, which is good. That act as a support. Call additions 30. So, of course, the PCR will slightly improved from 91 to 92 because put additions are more compared to calls yesterday. Now, participant positioning, FIIs are 21% net short. Earlier it was 27, so slightly improved. Prop traders are 4% net short. Earlier it was around 6.5. So again, slight improvement is there. Retail traders are 25% net long. So insight from this, what you can see is, you see FIIs and prop traders are bearish, but still reduce that bearishness. Retailers are still bullish. Of course, DIAs are bullish. They're buying at a very attractive valuation. So see the summary, what all things I've discussed is, looking at this market, it's mixed signal. Geopolitical issues are there. War issues are still alive. Oil issues are still there. We don't know what Trump is going to say, right? If the tone is positive, positive for the market. If there is a ceasefire possibility, positive for the market. US markets have closed positive. That is also looking positive. Slight VIX drop is also considered positive. But still, there is no confirmation of all these discussions. Then most importantly, negative is especially to the banks, RBI pressure on banks, right? And the ADR is also showing weakness. So if I get an opportunity to short at a higher level, I can go for it. Unless something good is coming in the news, against the news, I don't want to go. If things are looking normal, then at a higher level, I can short because domestically, especially for the banks, there is weakness. And if HDFC comes under pressure, Nifty comes under pressure. So I get an opportunity at a higher level to short, I'm definitely going to short. Okay. So keep a watch on this speech. And anyway, that you will get to know once the market open also. So technically, if you see that I've discussed yesterday, market opened 570 point gap up and they made a high of around 22,940. It could have touched 23,000 and closed at around 22,680. There was a big selling at the after some time. And then we have seen again a bearish candle because you got a big gap up. So open and close, if you see, that's a red candle. But close and yesterday's close, previous day close and yesterday's close, if you see, that's a higher close. But open of yesterday and close of yesterday, if you see, that's a red candle. So structure is again that lower high, lower low, that is intact, still below all the moving averages. RSI is still below 40, right? A kind of triple divergence is forming. So that is a potential reversal signal also. Now, the important level, 22,800 is a resistance, 22,850 is a resistance. And after that, 23,000, 23,200 levels support immediately at 22,500. And the crucial support is at 22,300. Bank Nifty also opened around 160 point gap up yesterday and went till 52,000 and closed at around 51,450. Remember, it is coming from 61,500 level, which is all time high. Now, again, if you look at the pattern, it's a small bodied doji candle. Indecision is what you see. Today also, Bank Nifty will come under pressure. So the structure, if you see, the downtrend here also is still intact. RBI, this moving average 50 EMA is coming below 200 EMA. That crossover has happened. And RSI is also below 40. Again, here also a triple divergence is present. If this pressure was not there, RBI pressure was not there, there could have been a reversal from here unless there is no negative news. So the levels are 51,800, 52,000 is the resistance. Support is at 50,500 level. Last year, this time also we were at this level. Okay, so now also we came back to that level. Open interest, if you see, call side maximum on Nifty at 23,500. After that, 23,000, 23,200 also. There are fresh writing again at 23,000, 22,900, 22,800 also, these levels. Put side, if you see, maximum is now shifted to 22,500. And then 22,000, of course, is there. 22,700 is there. 22,700, 22,800. These are the straddle players. They get, they take slightly higher risk, but more reward you will get. So the range expected is 22,500 to 23,000. So overall, the market is waiting for one event, that is this speech. Now, I think this has just started, might have started. Okay, so market is not trending. It is reacting to the news and global events. So look at that speech, and then if it is positive, market will react positively. If it is negative, market will react negatively. But especially the bank nifty, we get a selling opportunity if it is going higher for sure. Watch a oil reaction, banking pressure also. So that's about the session. If you would like to trade with us live in the market, right? We have the live market mentoring sessions. Get in touch with us. Check out the contact details, and you can WhatsApp.